This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on YouTube. We do have a quorum. There are no previous minutes here because what we did is we approved the final report to the board, and it was posted online. So what we'll do now is we will move to public comments. Is there anyone out there that would like to make public comments? Seeing that there are no public comments, we'll close that out. John, our liaison, do you have any remarks?
No, just looking forward to making sure I help to support this committee. Anything that you folks need, just make sure that you let me know, and I'll make I'll do everything I can on my part to make sure we keep everything going. I've seen timelines and all the work that you guys have done so far. It looks wonderful, and we certainly appreciate everything that that this committee has done, and look forward to a successful upcoming election. So I just want to thank this committee again.
Thank you so much. So this kind of blends in with my remarks as the chairperson. We know we've hired MK Elections to do this hybrid, and it will be online. There'll be a ballot to every lot that people own, and that's well over 8,000, believe it or not. But I wanted to ask you, John, when are you going to announce the candidates for the election?
So we have all we have the 5 candidates as I had sent out earlier. We've completed the verification. The letters will go out in the next couple days to the candidates. I'm targeting to try and get it out by Friday is what I want, what I'd like to have done. The question I was talking with, we could do that, as soon as possible. Tom, I just wanted to clear up. Is that something you do as the chairman, or you want me to do? I just want to just make sure.
Yeah, that is your responsibility. But as you talk about the fact that you've validated the 5 candidates, when Josh makes that announcement publicly, what we would like you to do is, and I can send Josh a separate email on this, we would like to canvass the membership for questions, not only for the questions for the candidates to answer, along with their bio, their 200-word, their photograph, and the 3 questions, but also for the candidate forum, because we've agreed that we're going to conduct a candidate forum this year like we did last year, where we will get the questions in. They will be listed. The candidates will pick out of a hat a number, and then they, like you went through yourself, and therefore it's fair. You don't get them in advance, and what you state is what your position is. So in other words, when you make the announcement of the validation of the 5 candidates, please ask the community for questions to be sent to elections@oceanpines.org. That is our official website.
Yeah, and Josh is on the call here now, so he's listening to this as well. He'll keep me straight. Yes. But I'll get with Josh this week, and then I'd rather sooner the better. I like to kind of if it's ready to go, and I'd like to get it out and get things moving.
Yeah. So we'll transition to another. You'll have to excuse me. My wife just walked in and the dogs are barking. And that is the candidate draw, which is important. And you went through it, where we have the deck of cards, and the candidates are at the table, ace through 4, which is 5. And that's the ballot order. That's important because when we provide the documents to the Elections Committee, they need to know the order. They need to have the photos.
Yep.
They need to have the statements. They need to have the bios, and on and on. Not only that, we need Rick to sign off on the announcement for the annual meeting, which is the agenda and all that. And I can get with you on the side on this.
Yep.
And the next thing we need to do is we need to craft the letter to the people who at this point in time are ineligible. Because as you know, last year we did that early. We didn't wait till July 2nd to say you're ineligible. We went out almost 2 weeks earlier, and they resolved their issue, and 128 people were able to vote. And we're going to do that earlier this year. So I'm certainly glad that we have more than 2 candidates for the 2 positions, because we would have had to delay this to the 3rd week in June per the resolution and the bylaws. So that's great. So we can talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's good, Tom. I think it's good if we can get the getting folks that maybe that may need to catch up on a past assessment or a violation or whatever it may be, give that opportunity. I think that the more the better. That's kind of good for everybody.
Yes. I think last year we had over 800 people who were ineligible to vote. It's kind
amazing.
of
It's like almost 10%.
It's a disappointment, but that's the way of the world. And even when our friend Dutch was at the meeting, he talked about the fact that people who are on payment plans should be given the opportunity to vote. But it's clear in the bylaws, if you haven't paid up by the deadline, you can't vote. And
so it's paid in full.
Paid in full, yes.
Yep.
Yes. So that's what we have. Okay. Now, in the packet to the members here, we have the elections timeline. And like I said, because we have 5 candidates, we can move out with it. So as soon as you announce the eligible candidates, the committee can conduct the draw and the workshop. And what that is like I said, the photos, the bio, the questions, and also we talk about signage, when you can put your signs up and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then the next task after that, when we get all that input from the candidates, we develop the ballots and the inserts and all that. And then we provide the eligible and ineligible list to the contractor. Now, we want that, the projection for that is June 13th to the 14th that week. And what we do is we work with the membership office to produce those Excel spreadsheets, and they're sent to the vendor who actually produces the envelopes and the inserts and this, that, and the other. And we have I guess you would say a date to get that out pretty quickly after they do that. So we're looking at the month of June, like mid to late June. We're not going to wait till July like in past years. We want to get that out. And so what our expectation is when those ineligible letters go out, people will come back, resolve their ineligibility, and then what we will do, we'll have the vendor send them a ballot package. So that's in place.
Tom, just a quick question on that. Are they kind of handled one-off, as they come in, as someone clears up a violation or comes current with assessment, they'll say, hey, it's Mary Smith Mary Smith gets a packet, and we just kind of handle, are they handled one-off?
They're handled one off, and then what we do is we have to send. So let me explain this. They will gain eligibility but at a future date is when we inform the vendor that they are now eligible. We don't do it onesie and twosies.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I was trying to
yes.
get at. I was like, this sounds like this thing could get
No,
sideways with 100 and some one-offs.
Yeah, because it's too complicated.
Right.
So that's the way we're going to do that. Next thing is developing the date for the candidate forum and the handouts and questions for the forum. Well, like I said, we'll ask Josh to go out with a blast and we'll get those questions in. The candidate forum will probably be the third week in June. The voter eligibility deadline per the bylaws is July 2nd. So we'll get the resolved eligibility to the contractor prior to that, but then you may have onesies and twosies that come in. It's hard to predict because this has not been done in the past. What we're trying to do is give people the ability to vote if they, resolve the differences. So after that, it's pretty much the ballot receipt deadline on the 6th of August, and then the count on the 8th, and then we announce the results at the annual meeting. We've already prepared the script for that, and I provided it to my colleagues here. And then, of course, afterwards, we have 30 days to provide a report to the board on what went well, what didn't go well, and recommendations for next year. But I'm anxious to see how the online voting goes here. I know that we had 833 online votes in 2022, and around 3,000 people voted. We had a few more in 2023 who voted, but nevertheless, I think online voting is important. It saves us money because we don't have to deal with the business reply mail costs and the processing of those paper ballots by the vendor. That's an additional cost. In a matter of fact, when we did these, the RFP and the ask them for quotes, they can't predict what that's going to be. It's kind of like an unknown, an unknown known. Hi, Joyce. You're on camera, by the way. And so in any event, that's the way we're going to operate it here. So next thing I want to talk about, let me go back to the agenda because I'm dancing around this. We talked about the candidate forum. That's going to be driven by a lot of activities, such as the announcement and when we get the materials. I'm sure it's going to be at the golf course like it was last year, the golf clubhouse at 6 p.m. And, that's about it. Like I said, this is a process. We have a timeline here of activities that we have to go through. So let me turn this over to my team. George, you first. Is there anything else that we should talk about?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I believe on your timeline you have, for the time for the ballots to go out, you have 17th or 18th. I believe you have to pick. The original date was the 17th. You're going to confuse the vendor if you have 17 or 18.
Well, when I looked at 17 or 18 June, that was a Monday and Tuesday. So kind of give him a little flex there. Yeah.
Okay, well then make it 18 then.
Well, we can do that.
But make it one date. Other than that, I think all the other dates were you almost copied all the dates that I came up with the timeline that I did.
Yeah, because the provide the Excel spreadsheets to the contractor
Right.
is the 13th and 14th, which is actually a Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. What I did, or what we did, I think we should explain, is that in the past, there was not enough time given for the printers to do their printing. It's assuming that they're just sitting there waiting only to do work for us, but they have other work that they're doing also. So if we explain to everybody that we built in goof time that if a machine breaks down or if something goes wrong, which we know it's gonna, that we have it taken care of, and we have a timeline built in to take care of that.
Yeah, well, we've got we actually got 14 or 15 days for that to happen prior to, what was done in the past. So I
Right.
think by pushing this out early, we're good.
Right, but a lot of that was done because of that memo that we got from one of the vendors on the how the U.S. Post Office has gone downhill with this new projects that they have. And for instance, they started down in Richmond, and they had only 46% of their mail was delivered on time.
I know.
And so we had to build in that extra time in there to take care of any slowness in the post office. That's
Well, when they built in informed delivery, which requires every piece of mail to be scanned into an email system, that slowed things down. It's a convenience to all of us that we know it's going to be in our mailbox. I get that email about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I know it's going to be there. If it's all junk mail, I don't go to the mail pavilion. I won't go unless I find that something that I really need to address. But that's the way of the world. We all know cluster boxes now. They don't want to do individual mailboxes because it saves money. And we have cluster boxes. We have 50 of them, sets of them here in Ocean Pines. Because when I was on budget and finance, we did a study on we got to replace pretty much all of them because they're old. So we built that in.
also what people don't realize, that to mail a letter to somebody here in Ocean Pines, if it's mailed at the Ocean Pines post office, it takes 3 days to get to that person in Ocean Pines, because it has to go from here to Baltimore and then back.
Yes.
Which is stupid, but that's what we have to live with. So
Yeah.
okay, I'm out.
Okay. Steve Ransdell, you got anything to add to this?
Nope, I'm tracking everything, and just want to be sure I coordinate my calendar with the dates when you get to that. But other than that, I'm fine.
Okay. Nancy, any comments, any concerns?
No, it looks fine. Thank you for sending those out earlier. I think when it comes to that date of the 17th or 18th, is that something that maybe you should just give the contractor the option? What is the reason for saying it has to be on the 18th? Would it be better to ask the contractor because maybe it's easier for them to do something on a Tuesday rather than a Monday, or they'd rather do it on, I don't know.
Yeah, these are actually target dates, because when this was done, remember, we only had 2 people who had announced their candidacy. We didn't know whether we'd be able to do this at all. So thank goodness for Amy and Sherry and Jerry to step up, because now we can execute a plan that we had in place. And I might add, and I've talked to the board about this, is we need to revise the bylaws to do away with that two more than vacancy. They took it out of the search committee requirements when we did the 28 question referendum. They took it out, but it was never taken out of MO6 or the bylaws, so it's still in there. And well, that's all I have to say about that. Is that you know, there's a lot of things that are complicated in Ocean Pines. I could go on and talk about this because in the park we have records retention policy. We have a meeting. It's recorded only for the secretary to do the minutes, then it's erased. It's not put anywhere. In Ocean Pines, there's 14 years of board meetings and other meetings out there on YouTube. Whether that's good or bad, you're airing everything you have. So, but the only official document for a nonprofit are the approved minutes. Everything else is out there. Because I also am the secretary of another nonprofit for over 20 years. So, all right. Any other comments from anyone? Okay.
Just if I might, just one thing for Nancy. What her suggestion was very good. However, that was already discussed with every vendor that I set up with that was put in. And it was again talked with M&K after they were chosen. That was already discussed, and they really appreciated that extra flex time that was put in. So they're getting the information a week ahead of time, and then that date is anytime before that date it can be mailed. So it's, if it says the 18th, if they decide to do it on the 17th, that's fine, but it has to be done before the 18th. They can do it if they get it through their printer and everything on the Friday. They can send it out on Friday if they want to, but it's built-in flex time in case of a problem, which, as the Irish tell you, if there's going to be a problem, there's going to be a problem.
Sure. No,
Okay.
that's fine. That's just what I thought. It's a drop dead date, and that's fine.
Right. It's a safety. It's a safety net
Okay.
to cover
Yeah.
what we went through last year. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess that's that. My final comment will be, when I wrote the team here the email, I talked about setting up the schedule for both answering the telephone messages that we will be getting, and also someone to go into elections at oceanpines.org for the emails. What is interesting about that is that last year people wrote us directly, but then they wrote info@oceanpines.org, which then that was sent over to us for anyway. That we're going to let the next chairman determine those dates, because I've got to announce that, you know, I'm resigning from the elections committee tonight, as is George. Still, I will be an Ocean Pines owner until the end of June. I already have my house in North Carolina. We're being moved on the 30th of this month. And then we're coming back here because our buyers insisted on keeping the bedroom furniture, the living room furniture. So we have a full house to come back to, and we will. And so you'll see me around town and all that. But that's about it. Barring any other comments, we'll call the adjournment. Right now it's like 7:26. All right, everyone. Thank you.